Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Doruk, and today I have for you my 21st Hobbit League game. And I am playing against Eris. This will be our first game. And I'm playing with three people with two action tokens. I don't want to spoil other videos, but it's been rough for the free people so far. So I'm looking forward to putting up a little bit more of resistance, I guess. Again, not to spoil. I don't think I played badly with other free people, but you know, I think there's a reason why it's more difficult to play as them. So I kind of wanted to see, you know, how this game will go. So I'm super excited to be playing as free again. And yeah, without further ado, let's begin. Um, I start with Book of Mazarbel and Mithril. Well, Book of Mazarbel is always a very cool card to start out as. A couple games ago, I used Book of Mazarbel to separate a bunch of companions into Old Fort and send Gimli up in Erebor and send the rest of them in Gondor and Lorien, and basically tried to go for a military strategy. Um, you know, don't hate it. So and I thought it worked out fine, but not as well as I hoped for. I don't particularly think I played a perfect game by all means, but I just felt like it was a little bit underwhelming. So seeing this in my hand, I'm certainly could be thinking about separating people again, like crowning Aragorn turn one and sending Gimli maybe to Ered Luin through like Trollshaw's Sought Downs, Cardolan, Gimli and Strider, for example, and then Strider continues down to Druid Hour, and meanwhile Gimli continues to Shire and then to Ered Luin with the remaining two movements, and you can crown. So it's certainly a card that allows you to crown with a different combination of action dice. Right, it's a Palantir or a Muster companion move. Um, and as far as Mithril, Mithril is an amazing card, but it's a little too early. You don't want to play Mithril as soon as possible because there are two cards that can get rid of it, which are Nazgul Strike and Worn in Sorrow and Toil. Mithril's probably the strongest character card in the deck, so Shadow is completely fine trading those like Nazgul Strike and Worn in Sorrow and Toil for Mithril Coat and Sting. So you really want to keep this information close, I think, and play it as late as possible when those cards are not playable. And you usually want to play it to negate not to negate, but to redraw a red tile in Mordor. So super useful, super strong card, but it's a little too early for it, in my opinion. I mean, it's playable, but I'm not sure if you'd want to play it with a Palantir if you had the chance. Um, my opponent this game, my opponent shared their password with me, so I'm able to show you. I'm not going to be looking at these cards, but funnily enough, they do have Nazgul Strike, and they have a Swarm Bats, which are really good starting cards. Maybe Nazgul Strike is not useful in a given state. Maybe after I'm revealed. Certainly not a bad set of cards. Nothing immediately playable though for Shadow. So if they roll any Palantirs, you know, um, they might draw some cards. All right. So I start by okay. My opponent starts by allocating 0 eyes, and they just roll a bunch of Palantirs. They roll 4 Palantirs. They roll no more eyes, and I roll 2 movement. So this is a Aragorn Strider crowning. Get Aragorn if I give them a ring. Had I rolled one more character dice, or a will for that matter, I could have crowned Aragorn in Dol Amroth and brought the dwarves to war. And my opponent, given that they didn't roll 2 musters, right? They're not even going to be able to get Saruman. So it would have been very interesting to be rolling 5 dice against Shadow's 7. But like immediately question, like, would you crown Aragorn here? It is 2 eyes, so you do have 2 free movement. 3 if you give him a ring. Which means you will be over Moria, relatively unscathed. And my opponent has rolled 4 Palantirs. Like, it's certainly not good to roll that many Palantirs, especially when you don't have that many playable cards. So I start by passing. There's no reason to give information to my opponent. They draw an excellent card, a Shadow on the Misty Mountains. I pass. They draw another one, which I think is certainly correct. Even though you want to play Shadow in the Misty Mountains, you still have 2 more Palantirs. So at least one of them will be spent on drawing anyway, so might as well draw. I pass. They draw a second one, a third card, which is, I guess they didn't want to play Half-Orcs and Goblin Men. Which I understand. It's fair. You don't really know which region needs reinforcements, so you'd much rather dig deeper into the strategy deck, find Corsairs and all that fun stuff. So that's certainly reasonable. And I decide to move. I decide to not crown Aragorn. Especially previous games, I Book of Mazar build, separate a bunch of companions. I didn't want to go for that. This game, I was like, I wanted to try out defending Erebor with Book of Mazarbel and trying to defend Dew with bringing the dwarves to war and see how much that helped the Fellowship dunk. So a little bit of like military defensive plan by me. Even though you don't really like you can't really plan ahead in War of the Ring. That certainly was like, okay, if I'm gonna do any military shenanigans, it's gonna be for that reason. So I move. My opponent plays Shadows, and I bring the elves 1 down. Makes sense. They organize armies. They're clearly going for a quick little Woodland Realm. Which, like, I kind of get it. Like, you can just plop yourself in Old Forest Road. And it is a 2 free points. And I am threatening to put the elves to war. So this is now another like, do you move here with the Fellowship again? Or do you muster twice and use this will to maybe muster into Woodland Realm? Because my opponent will end their turn on Old Forest Road, and if I get to muster the elves all the way to war, I can muster in Woodland Realm twice. Which could certainly withstand this army narrow. But it would cost me a movement. So already a decision is being put on me by my opponent. And I decide to keep moving. And I'm not sure if this was correct, but I figured that sure, you can take Woodland Realm, and you're using this army in Dol Guldur, which usually meets up with Moria to attack Lorien. You're sending this army to Woodland Realm, you will need reinforcements to take Erebor or Dale, which I have Book of Mazarbel for, which is excellent. This attack will bring the elves closer to war, which means I will be able to muster in Lorien and or Rivendell. And basically, this big army in Gorgoroth is most likely going to go to Gondor. Right? So I'm like, okay, just by making this simple move, this commitment, this army to up north, I kind of get a sense of what your game plan will be. And I'm fine by it. I'm not like I wasn't planning on giving a very easy stronghold, but yeah, I was like, it's gonna be fine. Yeah. Like one extra elite. I would get 2 extra elites in there, so maybe just taking things slow is fine. Especially Shadow can't even bring Saruman to war. So yeah, well, like, what would you do here? Interesting. I move. They bring Sauron to war, which I think is correct. When you have a single muster, you wanna have the ability to attack, because if they just bring the Isengard to war, this army can't even get into Old Forest Road. So that's certainly, I think, correct. And here I do something maybe controversial a little bit. I use a ring to move a third time for free. And by giving my opponent a ring, yeah, I'm not really giving them Saruman or anything. And I am through Moria with this move. I move the Fellowship 3 times. And that muster would have basically essentially turned into an extra elite in Woodland Realm. Muster the elves, muster with a token at the end of the turn, and then muster at the beginning of the next turn. So now, is this worth it to give my opponent a ring just to get an extra movement? I am not so sure. It is the move that gets you over Moria. So next round on a 6, I will be through Moria, and I can just keep on going. But like the faster I go, it's obviously better for me. It's quite an interesting. Like, I really don't know how fast you should go. You giving an early ring feels just bad. Um, but it does speed you up a decent amount, and there's no corruption damage as well. And Woodland Realm is weak, there's no doubt about that, so maybe I should have used that muster and a token to defend it, but I didn't. But I just feel like my military will be like, at this point I'm basically trading away my military prowess for fellowship speed. And it's free speed, right? I'm not even get. If there was one eye, there's no way I would use a ring um to move again, because they didn't like me killing Gandalf gives me no extra benefit because no Saruman or Witch King is in play, so my opponent can just deny Gandalf. But in this situation, like, I get the free move, go as fast as you can, and see if Shadow Military can like catch up to me. And by not bringing the elves to war, I'm not giving them an easy Witch King. So that was my thinking. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's just a personal preference. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you would have done, or if you have a strong preference over the other. So my opponent moves into Old Forest Road. Yeah, Woodland Realm's going to get besieged. And I draw what I think is 2 excellent cards. Like I said, my opponent's next target is clearly going to be Gondor. Now that this army is committed to going Woodland Realm, they might attack Rohan. Rohan's always weak. But like, drawing guards that defend this Minas Tirith is great. Gwahir is very interesting because I'm at 3 movement. So I can just play Gwahir and just stick some companions into Woodland Realm. Not that it would make a big difference at this point, because 3 HP is not like that healthy. I would need to bring like 2 or 3 companions to make the siege last longer than it would have. Like, to actually change the tide of the battle, I would have to commit a big chunk of the fellowship there, and I just don't think it's worth it. So it's cool to have the option. Plus, if I move once, I'm at 4, which means Erebor is in range with Gwahir. Gwahir makes you move 4, and I can just get to Gwahir and stick someone, Gimli, probably, in Erebor, which is quite interesting. So, Next turn, my opponent, okay, has to allocate an eye. They roll 1 more eye and 3 more Palantirs now. That is unlucky. And a single muster. So this is a great, great turn for me. And I roll, you know, like maybe a couple more Palantirs than I would have wanted. But, yeah. This turn, I'm obviously gonna move once. And, yeah, see what happens. Like, it's a quite an interesting turn here that I have. It's because, okay, my opponent has only 2 attacks. And they do have a ring, which gives them a 3rd attack, which is the unfortunate benefit of giving them a ring, or the downside of it. They can get Saruman with the ring. They can besiege Woodland Realm and just do something with the cards. I mean, they do have cards that they can play. It is quite interesting, but they do have a single master. So, what I decide to do here, they play Stormcrow, which it always, I don't know, I don't really like Stormcrow, but every time it's been played against me, it just trades 1 for like muster die. So I don't really hate it in hindsight. I just like the Great Host a lot more. I'm like, what do you think about the Stormcrow effect of Stormcrow? What do you think about Stormcrow? Do you think it's a useful effect? Do you think it's worth it? It usually trades 1 for 1, like in dice economy, so that usually is helpful for Shadow. But I'm not really ever stoked to play it, if that makes sense. I don't know. Certainly like has some uses, but I'm not sure. Okay, so I killed the leader in Grey Havens, which I think is standard move. I think it's correct. That's the least useful unit on the board. Or you could kill a regular. Complete side note: there are way too few Elven regulars, so when you kill them, you just make them more available for downgrading later, which kinda is the bottleneck of the elves sometimes. So you have to be careful. So if you just take the hit on a regular, maybe it helps you reduce some more elites. But I think leaders. Anyway, so I start by moving. Obviously, want to move every turn, try to kill Gandalf, etc. I'm safe. But my opponent brings Sauron, Isengard down. They will certainly get Saruman with their ring. And here I play Guahir and bring Gimli with their little buddies. And I'm like curious if this is like my idea here was to play Guahir, bring Gimli with the other Palantir, play Book of Muzarbil, bring the dwarves all the way to war, and start mustering immediately. Because if my opponent, I mean, there's no way I can reach Woodland Realm before my opponent attacks into it. They just have way too much initiative. But it would be certainly cool if I managed to like move into Dale and into Woodland Realm. Like Erebor comes to the aid of Woodland Realm, that'd be cool. But had my opponent maybe 1 less attack, even though they already rolled a very unfortunate roll, I think that would be cool. I get to cycle a card with Gandalf, like small benefit, but whatever. Yeah, my opponent immediately besieges the realm. Yeah, fair. Like the interesting question. Is there an interesting question? Like, do you play that? Do you play Book of Muzarbil here? Because technically, the dwarves are not being threatened. Like the gray the Stormcrow play actually made a lot of sense. Like you see, if the elves had been on step 3, I could use a token to bring them to war and maybe use this hybrid to start mustering in Lorien or I wouldn't muster Rivendell, but like I could muster Lorien because it's certainly gonna get attacked. Right. Maybe I could use this hybrid to go to Old Forest Road, but the North's not at war. Prepare the defense on Helm's Deep. It's tough, so I decide to just play Book of Mazarbul, draw into scouts, which is good. I bring the dwarves all the way to war. They play Half-Orcs and Goblin Men. And I think here I make a mistake. I just use this as an army move. Like obviously I wanna get the initiative on Orthanc. But Saruman's not even in play, so an attack out of Orthanc is not possible at this point. I mean, they will get Saruman, so. But what I wanted to do, I just wanted to I should probably just start mustering in Erebor. And if I do that, you know, I can just go to Dale and start harassing this army, Golden Realm. Right? Or I can just let this elite stand here and use this army to defend Dale. If time comes. Like, it really is uncertain if Shadow will use these East Rune and South Rune units. Now that the dwarves are at war, these units are just not likely to contribute in the fight at all. So, mustering here and saving this unit in Iron Hills, saving this regular in Iron Hills, is less of a priority. I think the more priority is just have an army ready to go in Erebor, such that down the line you can either threaten a military push to Dol Guldur or maybe try threatening to retake Woodland Realm. Like that could certainly happen. So yeah, I think putting more units on the board is just generally a better thing to do because that's the first reason I put the dwarves to war in the first place. Like I wanted to muster them. So why am I like doing this move? Like it's a little weird. So I think that was wrong. But oh well. Opponent uses the ring to get Saruman. Oh wow. Alright. We're still in turn 2 and it's been 20 minutes. I will try to speed up. Alright. Next turn I draw File and Thranduil. Okay, this is the top deck you want to see. If you find yourself in this situation. And now the threat of the dwarves is even more relevant because if this army dwindles so much that like any unit that any hits that I do to this army is good for me because then I can just retake it easily. Plus I draw a File and Thranduil. Perfect, right? If I could pick the 2 cards I'm gonna draw, probably those 2 would. Anyway, opponent Algus and I rolls 1 more. Okay, finally get a decent roll. And I get a movement turn. I start by passing, they get the Witch King. They move towards North Ithilien. I'm passing to see how I will use this muster because this many attacks certainly threaten Minas Tirith, even though I do have guards. Right? They can besiege Minas Tirith, but I need this die to be able to play it. So this die, will I muster the wars or will I muster Minas Tirith? I don't know. I'm just waiting for my opponent. And I forgot to mention, my opponent got Corsairs here, apparently. Which is certainly good for my opponent. Certainly, the Corsairs is the card you want to see as Shadow. So I start by moving. I move. Okay, I'm safe. That's good. My opponent is preparing Corsairs and going towards Minas Tirith. I move again. I'm trying to kill Gandalf. Gandalf is not showing up. Then he refuses to die. My opponent goes to Druiden Forest. And at this point, I was like a little shocked that they used the character dice to move to Druiden. Because I was fully expecting like this army dice to be moved. Bring this Near Harad army into Umbar. And use that character to attack Minas Tirith. before I have a chance to muster. And then use, I don't know, I didn't think they had Corsairs at this point because this far Harad to near Harad move is very common. Right? But if they do, they just besiege minister it, put Gondor to 1 away from war, play Corsairs, besiege a free Dol Amroth, put Gondor to war, and Gondor can't recruit any units into their stronghold. Nah, that would be really good. That's what I was thinking. So I was saving this hybrid to play this guards here. And at the same time, I'm trying to kill Gandalf. So I move again. I get, okay, finally get hit. Draw 1. And here, I just don't know why I don't kill Gandalf. I generally don't know. I felt like I'm at 7. I'm on step 7. I have only been caught once at this point. And it's a 1, right? The hunt has been going so well for me. I mean, I did get 3 free movements and gave Shadow a ring for it, so I got caught once. I just need to make three more movements. So I just thought to myself, hey, why take an inefficient Gandalf? But I think that was a mistake. I think just kill off Gandalf, use your will to get him, and start immediately playing with 5 dice. And yeah, the inefficiency doesn't matter because I had so many free movements. Like the trade-off of corruption versus speed happens because you get caught so often when you move quickly. But if you move quickly and you never get caught, like you're just fast without the downside of getting caught. So you can afford to take inefficient hits. And even like if this is my second movement and I got a 1 non-reveal, I would have killed Gandalf then. Like, so what's the difference right now, right? I'm just like further up in the track. But like I would have killed him before, I should have killed him now. So I think this was a mistake. My opponent drops Shelob. And I also was like, I forgot, I was also keeping this hybrid to play Thranduil. Because even though I don't think my opponent will attack here, because they don't have much leadership, I was like, I wanted to see how I use this hybrid. So I was like, okay, if they attack Minister, I will play guards next turn. So I'll just play Thranduil and card. And it's Cirdan's. It's Cirdan's, and elves are not at war. So that's just unfortunate for me. My opponent starts mustering down the Southron. Okay. Oh, my plan, like before what I said, does not work because Southron's not at war. You can't really like do this. But you can certainly, like my opponent's plan, it clearly is to besiege Minas Tirith and play Corsairs at the same time. So they're playing for that. And I'm like, okay, I'm super happy for that because I do have the cards that I can stop them with. I just need to put the elves to war. But like the problem is that if I start putting the elves to war, then my opponent kind of just wisens up, right? But like at this point, I still have the initiative, right? If I use this token, put down the elves once, muster them once, I'm putting the elves to war, which means Cirdan is now playable. But Shadow still has to use 1 dice to put the Southrons to war. Move here, play Corsairs. So they're 3 actions away. But I'm also 3 actions away from actually playing Cirdan into Dol Amroth. So whoever gets the move has the initiative into that plan. Right? Whoever moves first has the initiative. So I had the chance to move, I should have moved. Because if I move elves, they put down the Southron Nisselings. I put elves toward, they move into Umbar. And they need 4 attacks actually. Yeah, they need 4 attacks to attack Dol Amroth. So like 1 to muster, 2 to Umbar, 3 to play Corsairs, and 4 to attack. But I have 3, so I'm still ahead in tempo to defend Dol Amroth. But like the next action that the shadow takes, the shadow takes, they will tie the action, and the second action they'll get ahead. If they get ahead, I generally can't defend Lamroth with Kirdans because they'll just be quicker. Yeah. So next turn, I draw Celeborn, all the elves, and I will go alone. It's an interesting scent here. What card do you get rid of? Right. So, which card do you get rid of? All of them are great. I think I'll go alone is good if you wanna bring some companions, but I thought that I will go alone. Gimli's it with the Dew. Where am I gonna I will go alone into? Minas Tirith is about to get besieged. I'm never sending Strider there. You know, whatever. Ents, Nameless Wood is really good. Usually you don't end up playing Ents for killing Saruman, but they're obviously great combat cards. I think looking at this situation, I would probably throw away maybe I mean, it's hard throwing away scouts because I can still use scouts in Fords or Dale. I think I would throw away a Celeborn. As awful as that sounds, because my plan should be to put the elves to war, and if the elves are at war, then the mustering effect of Celeborn becomes less relevant. So I think I should just throw away the cards I draw, but I'd throw away I'll Go Alone and the Ents. I don't hate about the Ents. If it was Treebeard, I would have thrown it away, but Entmunt is really strong, so okay. One eye, my opponent allocates one eye, rolls 2 more, gets bunch of attacks, and I get 2 wills when Gandalf isn't dead because I didn't kill him last turn. So certainly a bad decision by me. And yeah, so if my opponent, like given this hand, given this roll, if I put the elves to war, I need to use this muster, this token, and this Palantir to play Celeborn, Cirdan, to defend Olamroth, and the other will to play guards, and I have a single will to move. So that not killing of Gandalf certainly made it much more difficult for me to defend this turn. Obviously they're putting the and yeah, another side effect of Shadow bringing Southern Eastlings to war. Now these wills are threatened. I have to spend them fast, but I can't drop like guards on a will immediately. So I move. I hope I get hit. I do get hit. It's a 0. I reveal Moria tile 1, and now I kill him. Now I kill Gandalf. 1. So the same exact thing happened, where I just killed Gandalf to a 1, but I ended up spending a die on a turn where I really needed it. So, which kind of sucks. Which just sucks, yeah. It's just what it is. Like, it didn't net me any gain. I was probably gonna move anyway, and I couldn't have gotten Gandalf the White because I didn't have a will. So fine. But obviously would have much rather I'll use this will to get Gandalf the White, but now I'm just the tempo away from playing both guards and the elves. They bring the Southern Eastlings to war. Now we are tied in terms of tempo in playing Cirdan, but because this will is being threatened, I use this will to get Gandalf. So now if they move like this, and now they get the tempo back to take Dol Amroth. So now they're ahead. They are 2 moves away from playing Corsairs and attacking, and I'm 2 moves away from bringing the elves. I'm 3 away from actually playing Cirdan. And surprising to me, I was super surprised by this. My opponent just kind of just pivots off of Minas Tirith. And this was disheartening to see for me, obviously, because you know, I was like, oh, they're gonna cover both strongholds, but like they don't have to. Like this army that came from Minas Morgul all the way from Barad-dûr just came around, threatened Minas Tirith, and they kind of got Corsairs on such a time where they're just gonna play Corsairs and they're not gonna worry about Minas Tirith. They're just gonna get the easy point in Helm's Deep, Edoras, Dol Amroth. That's 5 victory points. They already have an easy 2 victory points in Woodland, so that's 7. They already played Shadow in the Misty Mountains, so if they just muster a couple more times, they can just easily also take Woodland Realm. And with these armies, they can just take Dale. They can maybe, depending on the other cards they draw, they can go for Shire, they can go for Rivendell. So, like, they certainly don't need to engage with this army with Gimli. They certainly don't need to bash their head against the wall with Minas Tirith and run the risk of running into guards. So I think this is an excellent play by my opponent. You know, yeah, and I could have stopped it had I just gotten the elves to work. Had I stopped just, you know, buffing around, like, you know. So I start by passing, and at this point, I'm basically trying to trick my opponent into doing something, doing a mistake, making a mistake, because they have the initiative. If I use a token to put down the elves to war, like, why would 3 people do that? The only reason is to play Kirdans. Like, they are not threatening to. They're not threatening to besiege Lorien. There's no rush to muster into Lorien. And even if I do, I can't. I don't have the dice to be able to muster into Lorien. So the only reason 3 people would muster down the elves is to play Kirdans. I'm just basically trying to wait and see if they make a mistake, or maybe they go towards Lorien, right? If they go towards Lorien, then it looks less suspicious. So I'm just trying to be a little sneaky. But my opponent doesn't make a mistake and just goes for Vestimnet. They do play a strategy card. I do have scouts. I do play it, but they do play the Swarm Bats. I think that's fair. It's always a question whether you should play scouts if you see a strategy card. But given the Witch King is here, given that they just might play a card anyways just to cycle it, I think playing scouts is correct. You want to hold Shadow accountable, right? Because they might have just been like wasted, like a great host, right? So I think you gotta keep them. What's the word? Keep them honest. Like, hey, I do have scouts sometimes, so you better have the Swarm Bats, and yeah, that's fair. That we both have the card that we said we. Okay, so they get 3 hits. They do roll a bit. Do they on 9 dice? On 9 dice, I guess that's like 2 hits. No, that's 3 hits on 9, right? Yeah, 1/3 a hit. So I guess they get expected. I also get. I get 1 hit, so maybe that's fine. Now Helm's Deep is looking just awful. And here, I don't think I should pass. I'm still trying to be sneaky and maybe make them. Because if they use one of these hybrid to play Corsairs and attack with the other, right? If they use not this die, like, I might still be able to play it because they wouldn't have to have dice. But at this point, I think the jig is up. Even if they misplay, I will have the next turn to punish them. So I think I should play just this hybrid to move some units into Helm's Deep. And like maybe go for Ettenmoors, trying to defend Rivendell in certain situation. But yeah, maybe passing last turn trying to be sneaky was wrong, right? I should have just used the hybrid die to just buff in Helm's Deep. Certainly would have been. What would it be? It would be a 4/1/1, a 6 hit point against a 10. Like, it certainly would have been a fight. So maybe the mistake begins there. So my opponent attacks Helm's Deep. Okay. Here I muster an Edoras. With this move, this attack, they put Rohan to war, but which means I can just muster an Edoras. And because they also only left 2 units here, I can just start mustering here and like mustering massive army. And like I said, I'm already behind on attack, like on the Dol Amroth thing. I don't think that's gonna happen. But because I used the hybrid, now they can do this. They know card, I know card. They just get a hit. I don't get a hit. Take it, and I just hide with this. So now, if I use this token to bring down the elves, they play Corsairs. I use the ring to muster the elves again to war. Next turn, I can start by immediately playing here. But like, I have to use a ring to do this. And yeah, like using a ring to get 2 extra elites into Dol Amroth seems correct here. I'm not gonna lie, because I just gave them a free Wooden Realm, a free Helm's Deep, and I'm about to give them a free Dol Amroth. That's 6 free points. That's just, I shouldn't do that. And like, Lorien is also very much under pressure. But like, using a ring to muster the elves to war just felt so bad. And I don't think I didn't even realize that was a play. But like, yeah, this turn my defense just was not on point. I was just like fully expecting an attack on Minas Tirith, and I just don't think I reacted appropriately. I think even in this situation, I should not. I was thinking about, okay, I'll just hide and try to get in Mordor next round. I'll just be faster than them. But I generally I think I should have given him a ring to play Cirdan. Yeah, and like play the hybrids, not like mustering into Edoras, but when they're threatening attack in Westernnet, so I have a bigger army in Helm's Deep. I don't need this unit here, and if they just like, but if this happens, then they play with the remaining 2 dice, the Corsairs, and take Corsairs. So certainly, was interesting. I think like if I was ahead in this initiative, I could have maybe kept the initiative on the Helm's Deep defense. But even then, that turn I think would have looked like me defending Helm's Deep, and if I use the ring, defend Dol Amroth, because I need to use 1, 2, 3 to play Celeborn, and 4th dice to move in. Oh, not Celeborn, sorry, Cirdan. 1, 2, 3 to play Cirdan, 4 to play 4 to move into Helm's Deep. That's 4 actions. I moved once, got Gandalf. That's 6 actions, right? That's 6 actions. And had I killed Gandalf last turn, I would not have to move and kill Gandalf. So that would have been exactly 5 actions. With this token, I would have been able to. I would not move the Fellowship in that chain of events, but like I would defend 2 strongholds. I think that would be worth it, right? Like instead of giving 2 free strongholds, I'll just like delay the Fellowship once a turn, and I'll just defend 2 of my weakest strongholds. And I think that would have been worth it, and I had the dice to do it. I would have had to use the ring, but I think it would be worth it. I think I just like misplayed this turn very horribly, so unfortunate. And my opponent plays Corsairs. They are 1, 2 away. I am 1, 2, 3 away. If they do something else, I put the elves here. Next turn, I immediately put the elves to ward. Then they play Corsairs, and I get to play Cirdan. So this is the perfect timing for my opponent to do this. And there's literally nothing else to do here on the board. Like, You obviously want to play Corsairs, maybe with a Palantir. But you generally don't have anything to do, right? Like, what are you gonna do? Move in North Dunland into Moria? Or are you gonna muster into Moria? Like, literally the only thing you can do. Had this been a character, like, yeah, generally don't no idea. Maybe you like organize your armies in Eastrun, but no, yeah, I think this is the correct thing to do. Alright, unfortunate. I use a token to bring the elves down. I think that's just desperation. Probably if the monster's gonna go anywhere, it should go to Gondor to threaten a free Umbar at the very least. Like a threaten 3, if they get a crazy roll, I can just threaten maybe Morgul and Umbar and maybe go for Dol Guldur, but yeah. So, okay, I draw Faramir, Horn. I do kill guards now that clearly they're not going that way. Opponent allocates 1 eye, rolls 2 more, you know, gets 1 army. Had they not rolled this army, I would have been able to play Kirdans because they don't have any attacks. They would have to move leadership first. But obviously, that would be really unlucky for my opponent, so, you know, there's a reason it didn't happen. And, you know, I get a decent roll. At least I can get into Mordor. I put down the elves immediately to war. And my opponent is obviously good enough of a player to realize they need to attack now. I play Daylight. Hopefully this maybe can hold, even though they have 2 free presses. But they get 3 6s, and then... Alright, so... Cirdan dead in my hand. Guards didn't do anything. Ants I did throw away, even though probably wouldn't have done anything relative. But like, yeah, at this point, it's looking really bad for free people because I'm not even in Mordor. I will use my dice to get in Mordor, play File, maybe play Mithril, try to go fast. And all Shadow has to do is just take Pelargir. I don't even have muster, so they can just very easily muster a big army in Moria, attack Lorien, and just take Shire, Dale, whatever, right? Scoop up. And I'm looking at their cards. They don't really have like rage or anything, so maybe did they draw? Oh, they didn't attack with witch. Okay, so I immediately move. I obviously, if I can, I want to get into Mordor. I'm safe. Cool. They do a little Nazgul strike, which is certainly good. They harass the Fellowship a little bit. They put 1 leadership in Dol Amroth because they obviously want to go attack Pelargir. They catch me. It's 3 reveal. Wow, okay. I have to take a random. I can't afford to lose Strider because I need to be able to hide with his ability and then move again. But yeah, if I take 3, it's also bad. So I'm like, okay, Pippin, you are in Osgiliath. I'm revealed. I hide. Attack Woodland Realm. Shield Wall against Devilry. They get 2 hits. I get 1. And they do press. They are going very fast. They play a Deadly Strife just to be done with it. It is quite a risky Deadly Strife because if this goes poorly, then the dwarves can certainly come join the fray. But they do get 4 hits. I do get 3 hits. Right? If they get 2 less hits, you know, maybe. So they're immediately at 6. I move. They catch me again. I random again, and it's Boromir. At least my luck in that random companions is going fine. Strider not dead. I'm in Mordor. I'll get to play File with the last Palantir. Yeah, they start mustering in North Down, which I think is correct. They're just gonna go attack Lorien or Rivendell. because both are equally the same distance away from North Dunland. So I don't know. They move into attack Edoras. I draw a card. I don't want to play. I mean, I'm already as dead as they come, I think, because of that horribly played turn. But if they have Cruel Weather, I would be super dead. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna play around it. I draw a character. Okay, another ent. They drop a red. I drop the file. We go next turn. 6. Draw Eomer and Elven Rope. Eomer's not bad, obviously, for Edoras, but relevant. They draw Rage, which is like probably the card they would want, which is an excellent top deck. I'm a Mordor. Delegate 1, roll 2 more. I roll no movement. Unfortunate. I move immediately. Get an eye. 3 reveal. Random Mary. I need to hide. Probably move again if I want to have any chance. They're just... Oh. Yeah, okay. Also, having 3 Palantirs is not the greatest. Edoras, they attack Edoras. Take Edoras. I play Elven Rope. Get the mouth. I hide with Strider. They play Rage. Yeah, they're gonna play Rage into Moria, and with this 2, they're just gonna boop boop there. And I move with the ring because I do need to make progress, and I draw the file. All right, that's perfectly nice. That is the tile that gives you hope. I'm at 3, so looking at this pool, I have to make three more movements, and the corruption, because I drew the file, is certainly not an issue anymore. Against the non-revealing 3, I can just take Strider. Against these like 2s, I might just like eat him, and the second time I move, I can kill Strider, and like I'm certainly possible to dunk. They're going. And here I was thinking. I am thinking because I need to give Frodo and Strider and Legolas some time. And I can do that if I recapture some place. And the best place to recapture is Woodland Realm. I could certainly recapture that with a mighty attack, like a charge, a valor. I do have Gimli with me, even though these like northern units are not in the fight. And I can like defend Pelargir. And I'd like this plan, except for the fact that I don't think I can defend Pelargir. So I really don't need to come out of Minas Tirith like this and leave it open. Because I would have really appreciated like mustering that one turn in Erebor and then maybe use this hybrid to merge in Iron Hills. So this would be a 3-3-3, even though like it would be like a 2-3-2 effective. This army can certainly take this 4 regulars here in Woodland Realm retake. But I just needed some points to defend. And Pelargir, even though they take Pelargir, it's useless for them because not useless, but like they will take Pelargir. Like this is a huge army. So I think trying to defend Pelargir is wrong, but at the same time I didn't want to muster in Erebor, because if I mustered in Erebor, then I would need 1, 2, 3 attacks, but now I only need 2 attacks to retake Woodland Realm. I'm only rolling 5 dice. Right? That's a bit of a tough situation that I found myself in. But like, okay, this is what I need to do. Okay, right? Like even not moving out of Minas Tirith is correct. Just move like from Fold into Druid and try to maybe sneak this irregular into Minas Tirith, right? Or maybe like the dwarves come to north and the north goes to Withered Heat to block off access to Erebor or something. I could have said, I think I certainly had more interesting options than trying to defend this army. So what my opponent does here they basically say, okay, you left Erebor open. And I'm just gonna merge with this army for Lorien, or go down and take Minas Tirith. So now that you like left these strongholds open, I can just threaten them. Turn 7. Okay, I get the third ends. I throw it away. One eye, and they allocate one eye, roll no more, which is a great roll for me because now all these eyes are so tame that I can just take them without risking Strider. So this turn I need 1, 2, 3 movements to move, and if I'm revealed in both of them, I can hide with Strider. So like I need like I just need 3 movements or 2 movement with a ring, right, to have a potential to dunk, because these eyes are so low damage dealing. And even if at 3, I can just like technically just kill Strider. I'm not revealed. I'll be fine. So this is a crucial roll for me, and I roll this. It is one of those rolls that wanna make you wanna rage quit because if you just rolled, had I rolled one more character dice, I would have had a shot at dunking. But now this is just impossible, obviously. So now what this dice is asking me basically is like, oh, okay, you need to find a way to defend your points somehow. So what I do, I obviously muster an Erebor and muster in Pelargir. I don't know why I'm still trying to defend Pelargir. My opponent is clearly going to take Pelargir, take Woodland Realm, be at 10. Right? That takes 1, 2, 3 attacks out of their dice. So 1, 2, 3 attack. 1, 2, 3 attack. So they have 1, 2 more attack with the mouth, 2 more attacks. And if they have a Palantir attack, then they have more power attack. Right? But they have 2 character cards. They did not play Grond. They did not play Fighting Urukai. They might have that. Certainly possible that they have like 6 attacks. Right? And I do need only 2 attacks to retake, and just need this to move. So it's going to be certainly interesting. So I defend. I don't know why I should defend Pelargir. I should have defended Minas Tirith. What my opponent does here, they go back into Woodland Realm because they realize, okay, they're not gonna let me take Erebor, and they just put one dude in Durden. And I think this was a mistake. I think this 6-3-3 army is certainly big enough to take Lorien, especially even if I muster once in Lorien. I'm not sure what your cards you have. You do have a guaranteed hit. You don't have any like free attacks, Palantir attacks, so that probably sucks. But I think this army is just big enough to take Lorien with a single muster, right? And 8-1-1 can take Lorien with no reinforcements. Certainly a 6-3-3 can also take it. Yeah, so that's like what, 12? Yeah, 12 versus 10. Certainly you can. So because they threatened Minas Tirith, I mustered Minas Tirith, and I mustered in Pelargir. So my idea was like, okay, like I did all this thing. So if they attack, they do attack Pelargir. I do play Confusion. It doesn't do anything, unfortunate. It could have been a huge confusion. They get 1 hit, I get 1 back. I retreat, and I'm basically saying, okay, Mary, you will try to retake. But like this fight is so unwinnable. It's pretty close. Like it's not unwinnable. It's 8 against 9. Sorry, not 8. It's 10 against 9. But what they can technically do, they can just go to Lost or Not and try taking Minas Tirith. And this is why I think this Druiden Forest dude was a mistake. If I attack into Pelargir, this army, had this been a 3-1-1 in Druiden, can certainly kill a 1 unit in Minas Tirith. So yeah, this is why this entire sortie onto Osgiliath was a mistake by me. I pass. And they obviously make the moves. I pass again. They make the moves that we both of us know that they will make, and I just don't muster anything because I just think that that's dead. No reason to. So the battle, they just press. They without dawn take 2 hits. They just kill it with 1 dice, which is expected. I pass again. They draw a character card. They're trying to find the Palantir attack. They have a single attack left. So for me to stay in this game, I need to win back 1 thing. And I keep letting them draw here. And I think this was a huge mistake. Because like I'm just helping them find combat cards to deal damage. I'm just helping them find cards that can help defend these. This because this is the only stronghold I can take. Right? Realistically, I'm not going to attack into Osgiliath, into Pelargir, because if I do, like I said, had this army been here, they could have just retaken it, and I think this is why this might have been a small mistake. They do have a ring, so they have 2 more attacks actually. So if this army was here, they could have taken it, but whatever. But like this attack Pippin into Pelargir is a suicide mission, so the only realistic thing I can do is attack and retake Woodland Realm, and just letting them just cycle cards is not good for me because they can find answers. They can find Dren Despair. They can find Foul Thing. They can find Words of Power and cancel Gimli. They can certainly find stuff. And you know what they found? They found Hill Trolls. Which was like probably the card that you would want to find other than Ulukai. And I finally attack Woodland Realm, and they use a ring to play Hill Trolls. And the moment they plopped this ring, I was like, oh no, please don't be Hill Trolls. And yeah, now that army was 4 hit points, 4 against 6, is now 6 against 6, and it's looking less likely for me. Yeah, I think waiting there was a mistake for free people because I know I'm gonna attack there. Just do it. Just do it before they can cycle into more cards. There's no benefit for me to do that. I attack and I do have Mighty Attack. I do have Charge. I do have Valor. So I do have cards that could help me. I start by playing a strategy and they play this character. I'm like, oh no, it's gonna be. I think I start by playing Valor here before I reduce all my elites. I want to get some hits. Like, I'm just basically making this attack hoping something crazy happens. So Valor into Foul Stench, that's a perfectly fine start for me. I get 1 hit. They get no back. That's lucky. I press. I play another card. Charge. That's my last elite. Maybe the order should be different. Maybe I should charge with 2 elites and then Valor with my single elite. But I could have gotten hit twice, right? I don't know. I don't have a guarantee that I'll have elites left after 1 round of combat, so I wanted to play the stronger card. And they do cycle into the Dren Despair with the Witch King's ability. You know, lucky? I mean, a bit, yeah. And I roll a 6, so that's pre 1 damage. And I immediately roll, and my opponent didn't tell me that they were. My opponent didn't say that they were forfeiting 4, I just assumed. But yeah, you should wait for your opponent to declare how many in leadership they're forfeiting. But I do get a hit again on a single dice, so I basically rolled double 6s on 2 dice. And they get 1 hit back. I press again. Now it's a 202 against the 304. I mean, I do have Mighty Attack. Oh, here, before I cleared the dice and cleared the casualties, I pressed, and I don't have any regulars in the force pool, and I don't have any regulars in the casualties. So when I pressed and I killed the elite, it immediately killed the full elite because it didn't find any downgrades. I didn't find any regular units to downgrade. So we take back and like the hit the hit that my opponent dealt should be in the casualties, should be available to be used as a downgrade. So we kind of fix that. This can happen. So it's an interesting little quirky thing. So actually I have 3. It's a 302 against the 304. So almost like extra leadership does not matter. But I do have mighty attack. They do have their terrible. I do get 1 hit regularly and 1 for the thing. I have 2. Which is not enough to take, but at least maybe I can take it with a character dice. But my opponent just gets 3 hits, which is certainly fair, given that my opponent rolled not great for the past 2 combat rolls. So they kill Gimli, and Woodland Realm lives with 1 HP. You know what can you do? So Hill Troll certainly mattered, even though that combat was like lucky for me. Like I fully admit, maybe Hill Troll, like the luck of the Hill Trolls balanced out by the luck of the combat rolls. I just shouldn't have waited anyways, right? Yeah, this was a very close fight for Gimli, and had I maybe mustered an elite here earlier, maybe I had more shot. Like, did not play perfectly at all. So, yeah. So my opponent flips mouth. They go to threaten Minas Tirith. I don't know. This feels like a random move. They assume that they won the game, which is fair. I think if you're gonna ever do something, you should probably threaten Erebor, but who cares? So I do the only move I can do, which is attack Pelargir with Mary, which Pippin. I don't have any cards. My opponent is low on cards. I mean, they're still playable, funnily enough. But yeah. No card. I get 1 hit. They get 0, which is good. So now it's even ground and it's 9 against 9. Let's see. I have more leadership, so I should technically win this fight. I get 4 hits. My opponent gets 3. Press stay. I get no hits here. My opponent gets 3 back. I press. They finally play their Great Host, which I was like, on 5 dice, I'm expected to probably like 2 hits maybe. And they're expected 2 hits. So if we deal 2 with 2, Great Host would deal 1 more. So probably a correct play. But I'm just... Oh yeah, this They're Terrible doesn't work because they don't have any leadership reroll. So that one unlucky round of combat basically sealed the deal for Pippin. I do still get 2 hits. So if I can like dodge some 5s or 6s, I might be fine. They get 2 6s, so that's GG. Yeah. This was an incredibly quick game. But and I think it was just like poorly played by me. I think the idea of putting dwarves to war and mustering them was correct, but I just, funnily enough, I don't know if you've noticed, I put the dwarves to war, but I didn't muster a single dwarf. I did not muster a single dwarf, so that's probably a little counterintuitive, like a contradictory action. And I just like lost the initiative fight against Dol Amroth, even though I had Cirdan. Let Helm's Deep got captured very easily. I don't think I could have done much about Woodland Realm. I think my opponent just like used their few number of attacks to take Woodland Realm as fast as they can. I think that's a very solid strategy. And even though they did that, the downside of that usually becomes that you get to muster more elves into other places. But I wasn't able to. Because they did have Rage and Shadows to take Lorien. That was also a lost cause. Corsairs, obviously, and a cheap Helm's Deep. And funnily enough, Fellowship, I think, still had a chance to dunk had I rolled an extra like one extra movement, right? Because if I had one more movement, I would have just gone for the ring dunk. Yes, I need to avoid these reds for 3 movements, but it's certainly doable to avoid. There are 14 tiles. You're pulling 3 of them. You know what? Let's just do the math. Why don't we do the math? Yeah, let's do it. Let's have a little fun. Let's have a little. How do I do this? All right, let's wait. Okay, we are in Google. Wolfram Alpha. Here we are. Cool. So the way I like to do this is using combination maths. So I will be pulling 3 tiles out of a 14 tile thing. So this is 14 choose 3. That's the entire sample space of what the tiles I can draw. And I am trying to pull. I'm trying to avoid the 2 tiles, right? So what I have to do is just basically assume those 2 tiles are not in the pool. 12 choose 3. And the odds of this is going to tell me the odds of never pulling them. It's 60%. And 1 minus this is obviously pulling one or the other or both. So 40% chance that I cannot dunk, 60% chance that I can dunk. Had I rolled one more move. I don't know if this is possible. Let's for the fun of it, let's pull some. Okay, I immediately died. I was about to pull some tiles, but yeah, clearly would have been dead. Maybe that would have been more tragic, right? Maybe that would have been more tragic. Who knows? Mordor is a fickle beast. It's hard to pinpoint whether you get unlucky or lucky. Even though it says it's 60%, like 40% is not nothing. So maybe had I time to play Mithril. Now we're just in La La Land, but you know, this would go back in the pool. Back in the pool. Draw another. Yeah, dunk. Let's go. Who would have thought? Yeah. So even though again, like only the first reveal matters here, obviously. But anyway, really well played by my opponent. I think the only small inefficiency that they did was not bringing everybody to Druden, because had they threatened ministered it, I would never be able to attack into Pelargir, and if I won this fight, I would certainly be able to maybe dunk, right? Next round, next turn. If I roll again 2 or more, because I mean, I would eat 1 extra corruption, but I don't think that would, because I'm so fine like the corruption. Anyway, so yeah, this was a really fun game, really informative. Don't give too many free strongholds in for sake of fellowship. And looking back on the game, like I think I am decently happy with my ring choice, giving a ring to go through Moria. I am not so happy about like missing the defensive resource into the Lamroth, or this like that one turn where I could have defended stuff a lot better. And obviously not killing Gandalf the first opportunity I got. So yeah, lots to learn, lots to improve on. So, but really fun game. Anyway, so with this loss, I am at, this was my 21st game. I think I'm at like at 11 wins to 10 losses. So just above 50%, just holding my neck out of the water. Certainly been a couple of rough free people games for me. I think my free people loss streak 5 or 6. Um, but obviously, I firmly believe not all of it is due to my own doing, but this one certainly is. So I can't really. Anyway, I hope this was instructive. I hope you got something out of it. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao. Bye.